Thanks, Tyler. No, really appreciate that. So I am the concluding speaker, and I promise I'm going to keep my comments to just a couple of minutes. We've learned a lot, and it's amazing as I've listened to the other speakers how much overlap there is in our businesses. In fact, Tyler was just talking about generative AI. My company actually collaborated with Coke on Masterpiece, and the models you saw up there for Fashion Week, they were models from our company. I'll get back to that in just a quick second. But before I do that, I want to share with you just a brief story about my first professional mentor. His name is Tom Graham. Tom grew up in a small town in southern Illinois. He was the son of a commercial butcher, and they lived in a small home attached to the butcher shop. And meals, as you might imagine, at the Graham home consisted of whatever meat was left over that was processed that day, and maybe a few vegetables from the garden, and a couple of potatoes, or a few carrots or string beans. Tom would describe his upbringing as humble but happy. Tom also had a gift. He could play basketball. Now, he didn't play at the college level or at the NBA, but back in those days, large corporations had semi-pro basketball teams, and they would recruit local talent to play on their teams. One of those companies was a glass company called Owens Corning. And Tom was recruited to be a janitor, to sweep the floors and during the day, and then at night to play power forward on their team. Somehow, in all of that, he also took the time to go to school, part-time, a couple classes here and there. And over a number of years, he earned both a bachelor's degree and a master's degree from Southern Illinois University. He was a Saluki. They ended up hiring him in other positions, engineering and management positions at Owens Corning, and he kind of worked his way up the ranks. As he got to be more known in the space, companies started recruiting him, and one of those companies was a company called Apogee Enterprises, and they are the leading provider of technologically treated glass. They hired Tom to be the president of their consumer products group, a position that he would later pass on to me. Tom was not only a good leader, he became an inventor. And along with some of the other leaders at Apogee, they created a technology called magnetron sputter coating. And basically, the simplest way to describe that is imagine you have a glass of water, you put a straight straw in the water, and as the light passes through the different densities of the glass and of the water, it looks bent. That's kind of magnetron sputter coating. It's basically taking and layering on very thin layers of metal oxide, nickel and magnesium, so that as light passes through the glass, it kind of tricks the eye. It gets rid of reflection. It can also do things like block UV rays. So why am I telling you this story about a guy who was in a glass company? Well, pretty much every one of you, in fact, most humans on the planet for decades have been touched by Tom's technology. That technology is on virtually every building, in every car. It's part of every one of your flat screen TVs or part of your picture frames. So the son of a butcher, sweeping floors, became a technologist that has touched billions of people. Now, we've talked a lot about an amazing technology today. And these guys stole a lot of the things I wanted to share with you. But I did want to share just briefly, just quickly, my journey, and it is generative AI, and what I do for a living. So the top 3D artists on the planet create content for the company that I work for. And from that, they've built billions of images, billions of 3D pieces of art content. What's amazing is, in order to do that today, you have to have really high computing power. So you spend a lot of money on expensive software, on expensive computers, and then it takes hours to create a single image. With AI, you can actually produce tens of thousands, and you've heard about how quickly things can produce, tens of thousands of characters or avatars in a matter of minutes. Let me give you just an example of that. So, thank you. When you talk about does AI add jobs, this kind of technology now gives an independent developer or a small studio the same capabilities to create quality as you would have from a AAA studio. And again, can be exported to gaming platforms, social media platforms, or it can be really high quality visual art. So when you think about all of the conversations we've had today, taking advantage of this technology, getting involved as you are, is really at the sum of what we hoped you'd come away today with. And how are you going to be the next Tom Graham or the next Tyler? So with that, I think we'll go ahead and conclude. We were going to invite a couple of questions, but I think for time's sake, John, we'll go ahead and skip that today. But do reach out to us. As the head of the AI chapter for Silicon Slopes, it is my privilege to work with John and the team, and we look forward to all of you getting involved in your contributions. Again, a special thanks to UVU, to all of our sponsors, and again, food trucks available to grab some lunch and network.